Kevin Durant versus Emmanuel Acho. 1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome to the J-Boy Sports Podcast. Today we are going to do our Versus series, where today we have Emmanuel Acho versus Kevin Durant. Recently, Emmanuel Acho said some stuff out there. Basically, when the Celtics were playing against the Knicks, he kind of took some shots at Jason Tatum, because it seems like everybody likes to take shots at Jason Tatum for absolutely no reason at all. And he took a shot at Jason Tatum, and Kevin Durant really didn't like it, to the point where Kevin Durant started saying, whoa, hold on a second. Why are you talking trash about Jason Tatum? What did you do in your career? You're sitting up here talking all this trash, but you decided to stop playing whatever major sport you were playing just so you could be an analyst and start critiquing people. But the thing is, we're still balling in this game. We're still playing it. You're a football player. Stay in your lane. That's basically what Kevin Durant said. But here's the question that you have to ask yourself. Is Kevin Durant right, or is he wrong? Is Emmanuel Acho right, or is he wrong? I don't know, but let's discuss it. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let's figure out who's right, who's wrong, who went too far, who didn't go far enough. We'll figure all that out right now. So stay tuned to the J-Boy Sports Podcast, and let's get down to the verses. Tune in now. So, the J-Boy Sports Podcast, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you comment. I love to have conversations with people in the comment section. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos. This is a versus battle. Do not get it twisted. Let's jump right into it. So, like I stated earlier, KD versus Emmanuel Acho. Let's hear what Emmanuel Acho had to say that kind of set KD off. Let's check it out.
All due respect of Jalen Brunson is more clutch, but he shoots 25 times a game. If Jalen Brown was on that Knicks team shooting 25 times a game, I think he would have similar results. All of a sudden, like, Jalen Brown is still a top five beast. But I would say he's better than them guys anyway. Without all that, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, MVP, Finals MVP. Yeah, Eastern Conference MVP. He's all of that. So then the Celtics aren't dead at all.
No, not only that, there's nothing that JB can't do. JB can shoot the three. JB can take you off the dribble. JB can defend. JB got mid-range. Get to the free throw line. Get to the free throw line. There ain't nothing he can do. Defense. So even with Giannis, I mean, JB one of the top dudes in the East.
But and that's why I said, man, like sometimes when the Celtics lose, it's like, how? This team is so good, right? And y'all so talented that if JT had an off night, JB can do it. And vice versa. Or scoring-wise. You go to your six-man on the bench, he can score.
Last question for y'all, and sometimes a question like this sounds dumb, especially outside the locker room, but we're in the facility. Y'all in the facility. We've all been on teams where it's a dog out there. Yeah. But that dog gets hurt, and for one reason or another, I don't have enough time to break it down, the team actually gets better. Maybe it's the synthesis of the team. Maybe it's just the chemistry of the team. Maybe it's just now we know, we're going to this person. Step up now. Other guys have to step up. I won't speak to this because Charles Woodson is Charles. God dang, Woodson. Did get hurt in the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Early in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he got hurt. Y'all still held it down. Still held it down. Like, y'all still ended up winning the whole Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, things happen. Philadelphia Eagles 2017. Everybody and their mama got hurt. From Carson Wentz to Jason Peters to everybody, and they still won a Super Bowl. Is there a world where, at least for the next 3 games, which is all that matters for the Celtics, win the next 3 games, advance, survive and advance. Is there a world where the Celtics, with Jalen Brown, who probably has more dog and closer and killer than Jason Tatum, is there a world where they will be better for the next 3 games against the Knicks? Does that world exist to you?
So that's Emmanuel Acho talking about Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. This is after Jason Tatum tore his Achilles. And basically, Jason Tatum caught like 3 strays right there. He said something about basically Jalen Brown being, would average more on a team like Jalen Brunson on the Knicks, would average 25 or whatever. If he had 25 plus shots, he would average more and some stuff like that. And this is no disrespect to Jalen Brown, but you're comparing him to Jalen Brunson. I'll tell you in a second why I feel like that's a stray against Tatum and Brunson. He also mentioned that Jason Tatum doesn't have the same dog in him, the same fight as Jalen Brown. And then lastly, he said that the Celtics might actually be better without Jason Tatum. Okay. KD's response, I'm going to put that on the screen right now so you could take a look at what Kevin Durant had to say in response. Kevin Durant said, "Hot take artists have ruined the sport. Football guys, no disrespect, but y'all boys need to stay in y'all lanes. You don't know what it is or what it's like between these lines. Man, give it a break. Dudes who quit football early to pursue media talking mental toughness. Cut it out. So that was Kevin Durant's response. So let's go back, like I said, and just dissect this a little bit. So first off, Emmanuel Acho says that if Jaylen Brown had 25 shots a game, he'd be similar to Jalen Brunson. Excuse me, sir. First of all, Jalen Brunson was the most clutch player in the NBA this year. He's been the most clutch player in the playoffs this year. He is the best player on the Knicks, also one of the smaller players probably in the league. He is also one of the most skilled players in the league. I like Jaylen Brown, but would I put him in the most skilled player category? Absolutely not. Have we seen Brown on his own team go nuts? Kind of. But at the same time, Jason Tatum is also on that team. And Jason Tatum, between the two of them, I'm not saying that Jason Tatum is way better than Jaylen Brown. But what I will say is that the more natural scorer and probably the better scorer between the two is Jason Tatum. However, I do think Jaylen Brown might be a little bit more consistent because his game doesn't take as many chances. But that's also like the jackpot lottery. That's why Jason Tatum can give you 40 points one game and maybe might give you 23 the next. Jaylen Brown might be a little bit more stable at the 25-point marker, whatever, right? But Jason Tatum can hit that jackpot lottery better than Jaylen Brown. So I don't like how he even did that comparison because you're also saying Jason Tatum is taking shots away from Brown. I've never seen that. I've never seen anything Jason Tatum did to slow down Jaylen Brown. So I don't like that analysis right there, if I'm being honest with you. Then the next thing is you're also kind of saying like, oh, Jason Tatum doesn't have the same heart and dog, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Jason Tatum didn't shoot well last year in the finals. He did not shoot well, right? He didn't shoot well. But I still appreciated his game because he literally did everything else very, very well. He defended at a high level. He was a very good passer, underrated passer in that series that they won last year for the championship. Okay? And he knew he wasn't shooting well, but that didn't stop him from playing defense. That didn't stop him from playmaking. That didn't stop him from still trying to figure out whatever it is that you need to win in those situations. That's grit. When everything is not going the way you want it to, but you still fight through it, that shows some grit. That shows some heart. Jaylen Brown won the MVP of the conference finals and of the finals. And with that said, he still took that on the chin, was okay with it, while everybody was bad-mouthing him like Jaylen Brown is some bum. So I disagree with this heart idea that Jason Tatum has no heart. Jason Tatum plays games. He doesn't load manage that I see, really. He always talks about the fans. He has a good mentality about how he approaches the game. You know, he's a likable guy. Stays out of trouble. Just puts his head down. Father, you know. And that stuff, the father stuff doesn't matter as much because it's off the court. But on the court, he still shows grit. So I disagree there, Emmanuel Acho. And then he goes on and says, oh, well, maybe it's addition by subtraction. They'll play better without Jason Tatum because you'll be able to put more of it on Brown. What are you talking about, man? Jason Tatum is one of the best players of all time already. Of all time already. What are you talking about? They're going to be better without him. Who's better without an all-time great in their lineup? What team is better without an all-time great in their lineup? The Warriors lost to the Raptors because Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant got hurt. Part of the reason LeBron lost to the Warriors in 15 is because Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt. We go all throughout history. When great players go down, this isn't football, okay? In football, sometimes you can manage it because it truly is a team sport, as long as it's not your quarterback. If it's your quarterback, you're in a lot of trouble. You can't really scheme for that unless you got a great running back and a great defense. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Right? Excuse me, unless you have a great backup quarterback. You know, that's the only way that, you know, if your quarterback goes down, you got to have a great backup quarterback. You got to have a tough defense to pull that out. You know, or at least a great backup quarterback. Somebody that should be starting but is not for whatever reason. Otherwise, on every other position on a football field, you can scheme for it. But basketball is not like that. There's no scheming for if you lose an elite top-level tier player. The Celtics are not better without Jason Tatum. In fact, they lost. They won the game after he got hurt. I'll give them that. They fought hard. Brown played well. The next game, smoked right out the gym. Because all the other team had to do was make adjustments, and you was donezo. Jason Tatum is like that. All right, first team All NBA for the last how many years? He's one of the best in the league. Celtics been one of the best teams in the league. Is that because of just Tatum? No. Is that because of just Brown? No. Is it because of both of them? I think so. I'd like to think so. So no. Now, jumping over to Kevin Durant's comments, he said hot take artists have ruined the sport. I agree with Kevin Durant here. I actually do agree. And this, what Acho sometimes, I like listening to their show, right? I like listening to Acho. I really like James Jones. I love Shady because I'm an Eagles fan, right? So Shady's a Eagles teammate, brother. Bro, but sometimes, especially Acho though, just he tries to be so different that he says something that I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? And I kind of like Acho, but he does a lot of talking. And maybe I do too. So maybe I can't talk, Acho. Maybe I can't talk. But you do all this extra talking, and to me, it got you in trouble today, right? It got you in trouble. You don't got to go take all these unnecessary shots at Jason Tatum. Is it like the cool thing to do? What did he do to deserve these shots? Except, keep his head down, play basketball, play at a high level, care about the game. He ain't perfect, but who is perfect? It's just taking a shot for no reason, trying to make this hot take. They'll be better without him. No, they got smoked out just like they were supposed to. Without Jason Tatum, one of the greatest players we've ever seen already. So stop it, man. You just make a take that actually explains the game. So when Kevin Durant says that, he has a point. When he says, football guys, y'all need to stay in y'all lanes. You don't know what it's like between these lines, and man, give me a break. To an extent, he has a point, because basketball is different from football. The only thing I did not like about this comment from Kevin Durant is it almost sounds like shut up and dribble, right? And there are times when I do feel like people should shut up and dribble. However, and in this case, you might be right. Maybe they should have shut up and tackled or whatever as a football player. But the problem here that I do find is Kevin Durant, everybody should be able to talk. So I hope that's not what you're saying. I hope you're not saying, oh, because you didn't play basketball, you can't say nothing about it. Because you didn't play in the NBA, you can't talk about it. Even if you're an analyst that studies the game for a living, you got to be quiet. That's where I would draw the line. If you know the game and you have knowledge and what you say makes sense, and other people agree with your takes because there's some common sense and logic behind it, and you really understand the game, then you should be able to talk about it. It's that simple for me. Everybody that has a solid opinion that really understands it should be able to talk about it. So Kevin, you're right, but you're also wrong on that one. And so moving forward from there, he says, dudes who quit football early to pursue media talking mental toughness, cut it out. And again, I gotta say, he has a point, man. And he went off on him a little bit here, obviously. But he does have a point. I mean, I get where he's coming from. He said you guys maybe could have played longer. Definitely Acho. He's talking mainly about Acho. I think James Jones played, his career to the fullest. Had some All-Pro. I had at least one All-Pro. Shady was multiple-time All-Pro. One of the best running backs we definitely ever saw out the Eagles. Shady was shifty as a mug. But he essentially said, you guys quit football early to pursue media. And now you talk about mental toughness. Like you didn't mentally want to fight. So, and he's talking mainly about Acho. And I have to say, he may have a point, but two things can be true at the same time. Now, the playoffs, the NBA playoffs have been amazing. There's been amazing, fight to win. And I do believe the players are really giving it everything they have right now. The trick for the NBA is, can you also sustain this and do this again in the regular season? And I do believe that may have a turn. And I'll do a video on that because I feel like after whoever wins the championship this year, it's going to be a new team. And that new team is going to show like we're raising the bar. No more playing around. Because I think LeBron specifically, and even KD definitely, we're sitting there thinking, players like that, we're thinking like, oh, we could just take off in the regular season. Wrong. These new blood teams ain't playing that stuff, man. We're real. We ain't the Toronto Raptors or the Atlanta Hawks from back in the day that players like LeBron used to feast on. Teams that we could just kick it up and beat them easily. Nah, we really like that. You know what I mean? Shea Gildress, Jalen Brunson, Ant-Man and Julius Randle. Pacers with Tyrese Halliburton. We really like that. So they're gonna. I think it's gonna up the intensity across the board moving forward. So, but at the same time, you know, they did some weak stuff throughout the regular season. So that is not. So when Acho and James Jones or Shady talks about mental toughness and NBA players not having it, that's still a fact. But you also can argue Emmanuel Acho. I don't know if he stopped playing for injury reasons or he wasn't that good. But if he just stopped to pursue media, which I don't know the answer to, that was a very slow burn on KD's part, and he definitely took a low hit below the belt. Right? How you gonna say no disrespect and then disrespect that man by saying you quit to be an analyst? Woo, boy, my goodness. It's getting hot in here, all right? But my final thoughts on this, I think that I'm going to roll mainly with Kevin Durant. I did not like Acho's take. Unnecessary shot at Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is a good dude, and I don't think he likes to argue back and forth with the media. But Kevin Durant stuck up for one of his brothers, and I respect that. I actually like the fact that Kevin Durant is not afraid to say what he feels. Sometimes he's off. He ain't always right. But I appreciate that he'll get in those trenches, because I feel the same way, man. I'm not above saying something to anybody. If you feel like you feel comfortable disrespecting me, I'm going to feel very comfortable responding to it. And don't complain about me hitting below the belt when you started it. However low we decide to go from here on out, just know that you started this nonsense. And I actually don't have a problem with his burner account. I don't have a problem with none of that, because at the end of the day, sometimes you want to say stuff and you can't be the one to say it. So unless you got a hype man that's saying it for you or crew, then, you know, get it off your chest. That's how I feel. Because we live in a soft world where everybody wants to cancel everybody. If it wasn't like that, then okay. Maybe no need for the burner. But because it is like that, you need a burner. So I get it. So I'm going to rock more with Kevin Durant here. However, I don't like that he's kind of saying like, oh, well, you shouldn't be able to. Everybody could talk on the sport. Anybody could talk on anything. And especially if you're knowledgeable and you build up a following because you what you say makes sense, speak on it, King. Speak on it. So I'm not going to tell Acho he can't speak on it at all. But if you're going to speak on it, Acho, come with some real basketball takes, not football takes or something you just feel like. Football is not basketball. Your best player goes down, you're done. All right? If your best player is one of the greatest players of all time, you're done. You're not making up for that, son. It's not happening. So, with that said, thank you for listening to the J-Boy Sports Podcast. I appreciate you. Please comment. I love to have conversations with people in the comment section. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Make sure you hang around for the suggested videos at the end. I appreciate you very much. I'm very humble. Thank you for checking out this episode of Versus. Much love.